Shalom, shalom, shalom. Giving all praise to the Most High. Coming to you with another lesson. This lesson is about sun up to sundown Sabbath. I know a lot of people keep the Sabbath sundown to sundown, but we're just going to look at some scriptures and get a better understanding of how the Hebrews, our ancient people, how they viewed time. So we'll go to a couple of scriptures and hopefully everybody get edified. We'll start at Genesis chapter 1. We'll read verse 1 through verse 5. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. Verse 5. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. Okay. So this first thing I want you to know is the separation of day and night. The light part of a day is day, and the darkness part is always night. There was always a separation. Um, Christ spoke about it in John chapter 11. So let's take a look at it. John chapter 11, verse 9. Okay, John 11, verse 9. And Yahushua answered, "Are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumble not, because he seeth the light of the world." So there's only 12 hours in the day. And if you really think about it, Sabbath day, the Sabbath was a day of rest. They only worked during the day. They didn't work at night, right? So let's go back to Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. And I want to show you something in verse 5. I know people always say, "And the evening and the morning were the first day." And they say, "Well, see, evening came first, and then the morning, that was the first day." But evening is not night. Evening is a transition to night. So it's showing you a transition period. And I'm pointing that out because if you think about from verse 1 to verse 5, something's happening throughout this first day. God is working. And then the evening, then the morning. And that was a complete day. So that's another thing that you can pay attention to. Let's see. And let's just point out some examples in the scriptures. Leviticus, we're going to go to chapter 22, verse 30. And this first example comes from the actual laws that we were given by Moses. So Leviticus 22 and 30. On the same day it shall be eaten up. Ye shall leave none of it until the morrow. I am the Lord. So just letting you know, to the morrow you can't re-eat that sacrifice. You would have to burn it. So I want to show you another one. Leviticus 19, verse 6. Now this is dealing with, and you see in verse 5, "And if ye offer a sacrifice of peace offerings unto the Lord, ye shall offer it at your own will." And it's verse 6, "And it shall be eaten the same day ye offer it, and on the morrow, and if aught remain until the third day, shall be burnt. It shall be burnt with fire." So you see it says morrow again. In verse 22, if I'm not mistaken, 29, this was a sacrifice of thanksgiving. Same situation. And we'll get one more. Exodus. I'll go to Exodus chapter 12. And we're going to read verse 10 through 12. Okay, I'm picking up at verse 10. "And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning shall be burnt with fire." Okay. Now this is talking about the night of the Passover. Let's prove it. Verse 11. And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, and your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. Verse 12. "For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and I will smite the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. So you notice we done read 3 scriptures where it can't be left until morrow. Notice the other 2 scriptures said morrow. In verse 10 right here in the telling of the Passover, it uses the word morning. These words have meaning, so let's look it up. We're gonna go look up these words. We're gonna use the Blue Letter Bible. We're gonna look up the word morrow in the KJV. Let's see. The first scripture we had was morrow, and it was Leviticus 22 and 30. Let's see if we can find Leviticus 22 and 30. And here it is, Leviticus 22 and 30. Click on it. Let's click on it again. All right. Now it's going to bring up the word. And here we go. None of it until the morrow. Hebrews 12:42. The word boker. Boker. All right. So we click on it. Here go the Strong's definition. Boker. Properly. Dawn. As the break of day. Generally. Morning. Day. Early. Morning. And morrow. So also known as morrow, morning. These words are interchangeable. Let's look it up. Let's go back and let's look at the other verse, which was Leviticus 19 and 6. Go back. Go back one more. And let's see if we can find it. It should be Leviticus. Here we go, Leviticus 19 and 6. We're going to look up this word morrow again. Click on it again. Here we go. On the morrow, Hebrews 42:83. Makarat. Let's click on it. Click the definition. Makarat. Feminine. From the same as H4279. The morrow or tomorrow or morrow the next day. So let's look up the word morning. Remember in Exodus 12 verse 10 they use the word morning. So let's look up the word morning. Okay, we're looking for Exodus 12:10. Here we go. Exodus 12 and 10. Click on it again. Using the Blue Letter Bible. Here we go. Of it until the morning. Look the word boker. H1242. Morning. Boker, properly dawn after break of day. Generally morning. Day, early morning, morrow. When we looked up morrow, it said next day. You look up this word, it says in the morning, showing you that the morning would be the next day. Okay? So just think about this. Now let's go back to the scriptures. We'll go back to Exodus 12. And it makes sense when you read it. Look at verse 11, Exodus 12, verse 11. And referring to the Passover. And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded and your shoes on your feet and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. Remember, this is on the night that they left Egypt, right? So you got to understand. Check it out. Let's drop down to verse 29. Understanding the Exodus, the first Exodus from Egypt. Excuse me. Verse 29. And it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne, and to the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of cattle. And Pharaoh rose up in the night. Remember, this happened at midnight. So now we looking between midnight and 6 in the morning, right? He rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night, early in the morning, and said, Rise up, get you forth from amongst my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go and serve the Lord, ye have said. Now think about it. We just read in verse 11 that they made sure, Let's see, let's get to it. 11. He told them, and thus shall ye eat it, with your loins girded, shoes on your feet, and your staff in hand. So he told them to be ready to leave. So if the day starts in the evening, let's look at another verse. Let's go to Numbers 33. Numbers 33, verse 3. And they departed from Ramses in the first month on the 15th day. So at before midnight, he told them to eat the Passover, girded and ready to go, for them to leave a whole nother 24 hours almost. No, when they left out on the morrow, which was the 15th day, they left early in that morning. He killed everybody at midnight. Morning time is normally around 6 a.m., 7 o'clock when the sun comes up. He had the children of Israel already marching out of Egypt. Just think about it. He didn't wait till the sun went down to march them out of Egypt. That's not how it worked. Just think it's just understanding it. Let's look at another story in the Old Testament that proves that the day changed when it became morning. We're going to go to 1 Samuel, and we'll go to chapter 20. Okay. And this story is about a covenant that David and Jonathan made. I'm going to skip over some of it so we don't have to read the whole chapter. But King David was telling Jonathan, which was the son of Saul, the first king of Israel, his daddy wanted to kill him. Jonathan was saying, nah, my dad didn't want to kill you, because if he wanted to kill you, he would have told me already, but he didn't tell me. I'm just paraphrasing. David said, yeah, he do want to kill me, so they devised a plan to figure out if Saul wanted to kill King David. So I'm going to pick it up at verse 5, and we're going to read this story. Verse 5, and David said unto Jonathan, behold, tomorrow is the new moon, and I should not fail to sit with the king at meat, but let me go, that I may hide myself in the fields until the third day at even. If thy father at all miss me, then say David earnestly ask leave of me that he may run to Bethlehem, his city, for there is a yearly sacrifice there for all the family. And if he say, thus it is well, thy servant shall have peace. But if he be very wroth, then be sure that evil is determined by him. So this is what David is telling Jonathan. So I'm going to drop down for full edification. Take your time and read the whole chapter, of course. But for time's sake, I'm going to just drop down and hit the meat of to make the point. I'm dropping down to verse 12. And Jonathan said unto David, O Lord God of Israel, when I have sounded my father about tomorrow any time, or the third day. Remember the third day. They were supposed to meet on the third day. And behold, if there be good toward David, I then send not unto thee and show it to thee. The Lord do so much The Lord do so and much more to Jonathan. But if it please my father to do thee evil, then I will show it thee and send thee away, and thou mayest go in peace, and the Lord be with thee, as he had been with my father. I'm going to drop down to 18. Then Jonathan said to David, tomorrow is the new moon, and thou shalt be missed, because thy seat will be empty. And when thou hast stayed 3 days, then thou shalt go down quickly and come to the place where thou didst hide thyself, and when the business was in hand, and shalt remain by the stone of Ezel. And I will shoot 3 arrows on the side thereof, as though I shot at a mark. And behold, I will send a lad, saying, go, find out the arrows. If I expressly say unto the lad, behold, the arrows are on this side of thee, take them, and then come down, for there is peace to thee, and no hurt, as the Lord liveth. But if I say thus unto the young man, behold, the arrows are beyond thee, go thy way, for the Lord hath sent thee away. And as touching the matter which thou and I have spoken of, behold, the Lord be between thee and me forever. Because Jonathan and David were really good friends. Even though Jonathan's father, King Saul, sought to kill David because he was going to succeed him in the throne. Jonathan and him still remain very good friends. So we're going to drop down to 33. And Saul and Saul cast a javelin at him to smite him, whereby Jonathan knew that it was determined of his father to slay David. So Jonathan arose from the table in fierce anger and did eat no meat the second day of the month, for he was grieved for David because of his father and had done him shame. And it came to pass in the morning, probably the same word, boca, the morning, that Jonathan went out into the field at the time appointed. So if the day started in the evening, how could he be there if he's going in the morning? The time appointed, third day. Okay, let's see, 35. And he said unto the lad, run, find out the arrows which I shoot. And as the lad ran, he shot an arrow beyond him to signify to David that Saul wanted to kill him. So that's just one story. But look, he went in the morning, third day. It's another proof. I give a couple examples in the New Testament, Matthew 28. And these coming from the gospel, and these are coming from the when Christ had rose from the grave. Matthew 28 and verse 1. In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn towards the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene. Okay? It dawned towards the first day of the week. It dawned, meaning that it was turned into what we call today Sunday. So that ain't proof. I don't know what to tell you. Let's look at another one. Luke 24. Luke 24, verse 1. Upon the first day of the week, very early in the morning. You know, very early in the morning when it's kind of dark and the sun's coming up. Very early in the morning, they came into the sepulchre, bringing the spices which they had prepared, and certain others with them, and they found the stone rolled away, because he got up on the third day, which ended up being the Sabbath night. He got up. He was already gone when it came to the first day. All right, but it say now upon the first day of the week, very early in the morning. Very early in the morning. Let's look at the account in John. Let's look at it in John. And this is one of the most telling accounts of it all. The first day of the week cometh, Mary Magdalene. Sorry, I'm reading John 20, verse 1. The first day of the week cometh, Mary Magdalene, early when it was yet dark, into the sepulchre, and seeth the stone taken away from the sepulchre. The first day of the week cometh Mary Magdalene, early when it was yet dark, what we would call dawn. Now look at verse 19. Verse 19. The same day at evening, being the first day of the week. So it's telling you right here, clear as day, the same day at evening being the first day of the week. So at evening wouldn't it have changed? But no, the scriptures didn't say it didn't change. You know, I know that, let's take a look. I know one of the verses they use to justify it is Nehemiah 13. Let's take a look at Nehemiah 13. Where does it start? I think it starts at 19. No, we're gonna read the story real quick. We'll start at 15. Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 15. In those days I in Judah some treading the wine presses on the Sabbath, and bringing in sheaves and laden asses, as also wine, grapes, and figs, and all manner of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold victuals. There dwelt men of Tyre, also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah in Jerusalem. 17. Then I contended with the nobles of Judah, and said unto them, what evil is this that ye do, and profane the Sabbath day? Because we all know that it's against the Sabbath to buy and sell, right? We're not supposed to be doing any money transactions. Verse 18. Did not your fathers thus? Did not your fathers thus? And did not our God bring all this evil upon us and upon this city? And yet ye bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Sabbath day. And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded that the gates should be shut, and I charged that they should not be open to after the Sabbath. And some of my servants set I at the gates, that there should no burden be brought in on the Sabbath day. It's just telling you that, of course, you're gonna shut. If you don't want anybody to come in on the Sabbath, you're gonna close the gates early. Of course, they will be coming in early in the morning. Grocery stores, even today, open up early in the morning. That's one of the first rules of business. You're going to open up first thing in the morning. So that's what they was doing. So to stop the nonsense, he had them sit at the gate at night. Instead of having his guys got to wake up early in the morning, travel in the dark to the gates to stop somebody from coming, he just set them there at night so that he could put a stop to it. It's not definitively telling you that the day starts in the evening. No, it's not. So I just wanted to bring these scriptures out. That's others. That's more. Uh, if you just, even if you don't believe, just pray about it. May the Most High give you understanding, and even have it on your mind as you read scriptures and see other scriptures in the Bible, and just think about it. Have it in your mind that the day starts in the morning, and a lot of scriptures will start to make more sense to you in certain situations. So, that's all I wanted to bring out. Pray everybody have a peace and blessed day. Shalom.